Like the most important, the most impactful gifts that God has given me is His presence. Because there's been times when I speak about this in the book. There's been times when I've been going through like dark times and nobody could reach me. Like family was all around me, like trying their best, but I couldn't be reached. I was in a dark, mentally, emotionally, in a dark place. I didn't want, like, to like be all the way honest. Um, I didn't want to live at one point in time. Like stuff, life could hit you like that. Like when you don't expect certain things to happen, and when you experience loss. I gotta watch this spot. I ain't trying to burn up. But when you don't expect certain things to happen in your life and you get hit out of nowhere, like it's like getting hit without bracing yourself. So you take the full impact of it, and the pain, it could not, man, like it can knock you into a place, like a mental space, emotional place, a spiritual place where you numb. And that's how I was. I was numb. Um, yeah, man, yeah, and I didn't even care. And that sounds selfish because I'm a husband, I'm a father, I'm a brother, I have family, but man, I was just so hurt, and that I didn't want to, like, I didn't care if I didn't exist, because then I didn't have to feel the pain. And if you haven't like experienced that, um, I think we all at some point in life do get to that point, or at least experience some of that, some pain like that. But it's all dependent on how we handle it, right? I'm about to close this up. But man, God was with me, like, in my lowest moment. I've made another video about it. I was sitting right there on my couch, crying till my throat hurt, crying till my head, like I was crying so hard my head felt like it was, like the pressure, because I was crying all night, and it was in the morning time that I was sitting here, like about like super early in the morning. Like right now it's like 6 o'clock. It's probably like five something in the morning, and I was crying so hard that I was in pain. My throat, my head, like my all this was just like so like pressured, because I was straining so hard, like all night crying. I was in some, man. It was just, I was a mess, and God really was with me. He met me in my darkness, in my despair, and that His presence gave me hope. And then He whispered something crazy to me. He said, and I'll write about this later, and I'll go more into it, like the whole story, like later throughout the next year. Um, but he answered my worst fear, because that's what happened. I lost my mom, and my worst fear had happened. You know, so when I read Job, I under like I don't read Job like I'm like, oh, I understand. No, I'm reading, when I read Job now, it's like, I feel you. I feel you. I like Job said, my worst fear has happened to me, has happened. I'm living in, or I'm realizing my worst fear. And I that's what that's what it felt like. But God, His presence, he was with me. He really was with me, and he answered. That was the only thing, it was His presence. It wasn't like He was speaking a whole lot. It was just He was present with me. He made His presence real. He allowed me to feel His presence, and I was in a dark place. So that was enough, really. Like, having Him with me made me feel, um man, it made me feel like it just gave me hope, right? And then He just whispered something, like so powerful, so sweet to me. He said, "This is a pain you can live with." And then I broke down and cried worse. Like I broke down more because it was because that was my worst fear. It was like if I lose my mom, like like I can handle a lot. I used to put myself through scenarios like um you know like mental scenarios. I don't know if anybody else do that because I'm just weird like that. I used to put myself through mental scenarios of, if this happened, could you handle it? If this happened, could you handle it? In banking, we call that stress testing. like that's a whole nother like story. But yeah, I will put myself through scenarios, but that was one thing that I would never even allow myself to think, because I was so afraid. Like I was so scared that if it happened, I couldn't handle it. That was like the one like only a few things like that if it happened, I can't handle it. So and it happened. And it hit me worse than I thought, worse than I ever like feared it would. But God answered that. He answered that fear. He was present with me, and then he said, and then in my spirit he spoke this. This is a pain that you can live with, and that gave me like I wept. I I cried worse. I cried worse than I cried more than the pain than when I got the call that my mom had passed. Um, but then that alone, that gave me hope, and that started me to be like, that got me back to a place where I was my family was around me, where I could receive their like comfort, the comfort and their love. My wife, man, I can't even bro, I can't even tell you. She was so vital, so necessary. I needed her so much, and I needed her more than ever. And that's why it's important who you marry. It it's important. Involve God in your dating decisions. Involve God in who you choose to marry, because man, when life hit, you you're gonna need you're gonna need someone who is God sent, and she was God sent. She like the Lord, he got me back. He got me back from that just like numbness, and then I was able to receive like the comfort from my family. I was able to start on a path of healing, right? So man, that's what I'm thankful for. I've been reflecting on that a lot, and mind you, this happened 2022. So this was 3 years ago, almost exactly 3 years ago. And I'm never gonna be over it. I'm grateful for God's presence, right? His presence is enough, right? Emmanuel, God tabernacled with us. God came down off his throne to be with us. That's the present. That's what I'm grateful for. All right, I gotta make these videos. Y'all have a great morning.